The award amounts to a simple certificate and our free gift of Alaa's book to 15 libraries in the area. Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to the Struggle Video News. The best news of the week for Palestine came out of Italy, with strikes all over the country in support of Palestinian rights. We begin with a report on Monday, the 22nd of September, that we sent up into a YouTube short. A massive general strike called by grassroots trade unions in support of Gaza is underway throughout Italy, with many sectors including railways, ports, local public transport, schools, and public services taking part. This is video from Rome. Workers downed tools at midnight on Sunday, the 21st of September, and the strike is expected to last until late Monday night. The USB, Unione Sindacale dei Base Union, which launched the action, called for the immediate break-off of relations with the terrorist state of Israel, which is the concrete way in which Italy can and must react to the genocide that is taking place. The USB says there are more than 60 demonstrations planned on Monday, calling the numbers unprecedented in Italy. Actions are taking place in Rome, Milan, Bologna, Naples, and Genoa, with more demos including sit-ins planned in Turin, Florence, Ancona, Bari, and Palermo. According to local media, queues formed at the ports of Genoa and Livorno as pro-Palestinian protesters restricted access. In Rome, regional train services were canceled or severely delayed, while in Milan, the M4 metro line was closed. In Bologna, students have reportedly halted lessons at the city's university by blocking entry to lecture halls. The Union of Basic Trade Unions said, on the 22nd of November, everyone will be able to take to the streets to break all the collaboration with the State of Israel, to defend Gaza and to stop the genocide, to say no to the race for rearmament and war, alongside the Global Sumud Flotilla that has started in these hours. Let's block everything with Palestine in our hearts. The Global Sumud Flotilla, which includes Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg and Novara Media's Kieran Andrew, is currently en route to Gaza to attempt to break Israel's illegal siege on the territory, carrying essential aid, including baby formula and flour. The report I've just read was created by Novara Media. Here, young Italians chant Viva Palestina! Long live Palestine! This video from Italy came from Ryan Grimm of Dropsite News.
Noi vogliamo inchiodare Israele e farlo fermare. Quello che sta succedendo non è più tollerabile da ogni punto di vista.
Dobbiamo riuscire a far crollare questo mondo di omertà e di chiusura verso questo genocidio.
La via migliore per fermarlo sarebbe quello di non armarlo più e di non finanziarlo più.
Per quanto riguarda la classe operaia, ce l'ha dentro di sé certi sentimenti, deve solo farli venire fuori.
Now to the Global Sumud Flotilla, which has suffered some 8 attacks, undoubtedly by Israel. First, the wonderful and brave Greta Thunberg.
Following the numerous attacks on our humanitarian mission to Gaza, we have gathered credible intelligence that Israel is likely to direct escalated violent attacks on the flotilla within the next 48 hours. And several governments have now reached out to citizens on board the Global Sumud Flotilla, warning them about an imminent Israeli attack, one that could be bigger and potentially deadlier than anything we've seen so far against our peaceful humanitarian mission, completely abiding by international law. Israel has, by desperately fabricated smear campaigns claiming we are terrorists, been laying the groundwork for attacks against us, using the same genocidal propaganda it deploys daily against Palestinians. And there is no doubt that attacks so far have been part of tactics to intimidate us and further dehumanize Palestinians, adding to the long list of war crimes committed against civilians in the Palestinian cause. Because they are scared of the power of the people, and they know that the world does not stand with war criminals. But we continue undeterred. And the closer we are to Gaza, the bigger grows the risk of escalation towards us. And this is not about the flotilla, it is about Gaza, where over 2 million people remain trapped and systematically starved under an illegal siege, and where bombs and attacks are part of their everyday life. We call on governments everywhere to fulfill their legal obligation and end their complicity in genocide, ensure safe passage for more than 500 participants from 45 countries. And we call on people all over the world to raise their voices for Palestine, for Gaza, for humanity.
A few governments are helping the flotilla by accompanying it with their own ships. This is a hospital ship from Libya. Greek, Italian, and most importantly Spanish vessels are also helping. The case of Italy is very instructive. Meloni, the far-right head of the government there, openly despises the flotilla, but the general strike has evidently made her think that she has to take some action. The Israeli response is to call the boats the Hamas flotilla, and to say piously that the boats should give Israel their cargo and Israel will give it to the Palestinians. On Twitter, however, it's been noted that the Israeli government lets its citizens and or gangsters freely stop the trucks carrying the desperately needed aid and destroying or looting the packages. Interesting polling results from the famous Quinnipiac organization. Just 40% in the U.S. say that backing Israel is in the national interest of the United States. That 40% number is down a huge 20% in just 2 years. 25% of the independents, only 25% of the independents back Israel's Gaza campaign. And among Democrats, 8%, meaning 92% oppose it. Also, 65% of Americans polled support at least a partial cutoff of weapons to Israel. Now to our coverage of the Rally for Palestine in New York on the 23rd near the UN. Well, not exactly near, but as close as Mayor Adams and the police would allow, some 3 or 4 blocks away. Inside the UN, Gustavo Petro spoke. He's the president of Colombia, and he called for an armed UN force to protect the Palestinians. The voice you'll hear, of course, is his translator.
Can we stop the genocide with a vote, the General Assembly? Yes, that's what we should do rather than a vote in the Security Council, because that is vetoed. United for peace for Palestine. We should establish a peacekeeping force to protect what's necessary today. Are words, not blue helmets that are often lack training, and they're not ready to do this. No, what we need is a powerful army of countries that do not accept genocide. That is why I invite nations of the world and their peoples, most importantly, as a integral part of humanity, to bring together weapons and armies and to defend Palestine.
Some of the signs in that demonstration on the 23rd indeed called for that same UN armed force. Netanyahu spoke on the morning of the 26th. Hundreds of diplomats walked out. The Israeli government taunted Palestinians in Gaza by booming Netanyahu's speech over loudspeakers. Mazen Kumsia noted that this is a kind of thing Nazis did to Jews during the Holocaust. In Connecticut, a week ago, a rally for Palestinians in Middletown.
Palestine! No more money for Israel's crimes. Resistance is justified. The people are occupied. The people are occupied.
Now, some very good news. The great Egyptian-British activist Alaa Abd El-Fattah has been released from more than a decade of harsh imprisonment in Egyptian prisons. He had gone on an incredibly long hunger strike in 2022, and his mother, Bella Ciao, had gone on a modified hunger strike for over 100 days this year. 2 years ago, our parent group, the Middle East Crisis Committee, gave Alaa our Courage Award. He had written a book that was published by 7 Stories book publishing company. Dan Simon, a publisher and editor at the company, accepted the award in Alaa's behalf. We'll have video from that ceremony and some of Simon's remarks. Alaa Abd El-Fattah was active. He became a leading pro-democracy activist starting in 2011, though he was jailed on and off by the Mubarak regime. His son was born when he was imprisoned. In 2015, under the al-Sisi dictatorship, Alaa Abd El-Fattah was given a 5-year sentence for the imaginary crime of organizing demonstrations. He was let out in 2019, and 2 years later was jailed for the crime of spreading false news, meaning telling the truth about the regime and its crimes. And all during these years, the United States government shoveled money to Egypt, $1 billion a year or more. Last year, there was outrage when President Biden did a fist bump with the ruler of Saudi Arabia. Yet during the same trip, Biden's very warm handshake with al-Sisi evoked no interest. Last year, Alaa went on a 200-day hunger strike. When the Global Climate Conference was held in Egypt, he stopped drinking water. At the point of death, he was finally convinced by friends to start eating so he could continue to have a role in leading the fight. Free Alaa, free them all. Now we're going to have a slideshow about how artists and activists are using artwork to spread the word about the need for freedom for Alaa. We'll show a number of the pictures we presented to the audience. We had several by the renowned artist of political drawings, Gianluca Constantini. Here are 2. This from Molly Crabapple. In this drawing we commissioned from artist Mark Nelson. Notice the Palestinian flag in the background. Alaa had great solidarity for Palestinians, and between jailings visited Gaza in 2012. This banner was at the event, but this photo was part of a demonstration we held last fall for Alaa. Now we're going to do the presentation of our Courage Award. We're a small organization, so the award amounts to a simple certificate And our free gift of Alaa's book to 15 libraries in the area who would take this book. His book is called, of course, is called You Have Not Yet Been Defeated. And I'm going to show you the certificate. And I'll read it to you. I'll have to read it here. Honor imprisoned activist Alaa Abd El-Fattah and all the prisoners of the dictatorship ruining Egypt. Free them all. And I would love to give it to him in person, of course. He is still in prison. But I will give it to Dan, who will get it to his relatives and then one day into his own hand. Now, before I introduce today's speaker, I want to ask people who use Twitter to do so on behalf of Alaa. You can create your own tweet or retweet one of our tweets about Alaa and Egypt. So if you went to @StruggleVideo, you'll find a bunch, including a picture of this Courage Award. There's a bunch there, and if you retweet things, so it will go again to other important sites, to the newspapers, and so on. So you don't have to do it now, but now would be a good time because you won't forget. All right. Now I'm very happy to introduce our featured speaker, Dan Simon. He's the founder and publisher of 7 Stories Press, which features books on social and human rights interests. Last year it published A Girl's Story by Annie Ernaux. Ernaux won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2022. Simon himself is a writer and has authored a biography of the late activist Abbie Hoffman. More importantly, for our purposes, he was editor of Alaa Abd El-Fattah's book, You Have Not Yet Been Defeated. Dan Simon.
You know, I can only speak about all this very personally. I'm, by the way, one of Alaa's editors. 7 Stories published You Have Not Yet Been Defeated together with Fitzcarraldo in the UK. And, you know, to me, this is perhaps the most important book that we published last year. And part of why that is that, to me, Alaa is a regular guy. He has a wife, he has a son, Khaled. He's somebody like you or me. He is not at war with his government. His government is at war with him. His government is at war with him. Think about it. You know, it could happen to any of us. And, you know, his response has been that of a regular person, a regular human being. He wasn't looking for trouble. He went to protests and blogged similarly to how you or I might do so. And you know, indeed now the government of El-Sisi, you know, sees him in a way that they're at war. You know, they are very much at war with him. This book, Stanley asked, you know, about how this book came to be. So how this book came to be is quite extraordinary and different from how most books come to be. Alaa's family and friends collected work that he had done. Some of it was blogs, some of it was emails, some of it was things that he did write for publication. But this wasn't a case of somebody in jail who produced a manuscript of a book and then it was smuggled out. It was really the love and the kind of passionate love of his family and friends that created this book and translated it and, you know, made it into a work that is kind of a real-time document, if you will. It's very unusual, and it's, you know, to me, again, as Stanley said, you know, we've published the person that, you know, Annie Ernaux, who I adore, and we published her for 30 years and have many books by her, and I think she's a great writer. And yet I say that last year the most important book that I published was You Have Not Yet Been Defeated. And why is that? And it's because partly is, certainly it is Allah's voice, it's Allah's spirit, and at the same time it is also a kind of collective work by all his friends and family to kind of create this document. I've really never seen anything quite like it. He writes, "To Rights Con. This week I start my 4th year in prison. I might be released in October if my appeal is accepted, but then I might not. I might be released in March 2019 when I have served my full sentence, but then I might not. They have other pending cases against me. If released, I might be able to attend this conference, but then I might not. My sentence comes with 5 years of parole to follow, and who knows if you'll be able to find a conference venue in a country that gives visas to people like me. Unlike me, you have not yet been defeated." I'm going to repeat that. "Unlike me," he writes, "you have not yet been defeated."
Program for today. I'm Stanley Heller for the Struggle Video News.